What if the most incredible places in Uganda weren't in the guidebooks? What if they were found in volcano-fed jungles where cobras are treated like gods? In towns where "you've grown fat" is the highest compliment? Or inside sacred tombs built from bark and banana leaves? No nails, no metal, no modern tools. This isn't the Uganda you've seen before. From remote crater lakes to ritual foods and sky-splitting waterfalls, this is a journey into the unseen. One that will change what you think you know about Africa and maybe about yourself. This is Unseen Uganda. Hidden places you won't believe exist. A 4K cinematic journey into the heart of the Pearl of Africa. The Batwa forest rituals, echoes of the first people. Deep in the shadows of Bunyonyi impenetrable forest lives a story older than any safari. The Batwa. Once forest dwellers, the Batwa lived as hunter-gatherers for thousands of years. They didn't just know the jungle, they were part of it. Every tree had a use, every root a remedy, every shadow a secret. But when the forest was declared a national park in 1991, the Batwa were forced out in the name of conservation. Today, they return in silence, barefoot, guided by memory. They gather bark from the African cherry tree to treat lung infections. They boil the dogwood to soothe aching joints. Over 300 medicinal plants are known to Batwa elders, many without a written record. Each is passed down through oral tradition, dance and ritual. But it's not just about survival. These plants are part of sacred ceremonies performed by moonlight to honor ancestors who still dwell spiritually beneath the canopy. To walk with a Batwa guide is to enter a parallel world, one where the jungle isn't wild, it's home. And where science and spirituality aren't opposites, but entwined. And just when you begin to understand, you realize what's at stake. The Batwa no longer sleep under these trees. Their traditions hang by threads. And yet, in whispered songs and healing smoke, they endure. And this is where the story of Unseen Uganda begins. But if the forest holds secrets, what boils beneath it might be even stranger. Kitagata Hot Springs. The boiling waters of the kings. Tucked in Uganda's far west near the hills of Shima lies a place where the earth doesn't just breathe, it boils. These are the Kitagata Hot Springs, sacred waters revered for generations. Locals call them the Waters of the King, a royal bathing spot believed to heal body and soul. The springs bubble up at nearly 80 degrees Celsius, hot enough to cook an egg, yet locals bathe in them daily, not cautiously, reverently. Some immerse in silence, others sing softly as steam curls around them, mixing the scent of wild herbs. Science will tell you the mineral-rich waters aid blood flow, treat skin disease, even ease arthritis. But ask a local elder and they'll speak of the spirits, that the water carries stories from deep beneath the land. Here you'll see something rare. Ancient ritual and modern science coexisting in peace. Herbalists fill gourds with spring water. Children laugh in the warm shallows. Pilgrims rub ash on their arms and pray for their ancestors' favor. Kitagata isn't on most maps. No tour buses pull up, but the people who come here don't need luxury. They come for restoration. Of body, of spirit, of tradition. But if Uganda's spirits rise through water, they also sleep beneath a palace made of bark. Kasubi Royal Tombs. Built without nails. On a quiet hill overlooking Kampala stands a structure unlike anything else in Africa. The Kasubi Royal Tombs. At first glance, it looks like a vast thatched hut, but step inside, and you're standing in one of the most sacred buildings in Buganda Kingdom. A UNESCO World Heritage Site built entirely from organic material. No nails, no bricks, just timber, reeds, bark cloth and banana fibers. Woven with spiritual precision. This is the Muzibu Azala Mpanga, the burial ground of 4 Buganda kings. And it's not just a tomb, it's an active religious site. Each pillar of the Great Dome has symbolic meaning. The intricate reedwork above you isn't just decorative. It tells stories of clans, wars, peace offerings, and royal lineage. Visitors remove shoes. Women kneel in greeting. The silence inside isn't enforced, it's felt. The air smells of earth, wood, and burnt herbs. Occasionally, a priest in traditional garb performs a quiet ritual honoring the spirits of the kings. The tomb is more than a monument. It's a living bridge between past and present. And outside, children play, vendors sell bark cloth, modern Kampala hums in the distance. But here, inside this dome of memory and meaning, time folds and tradition lives on. And just beyond the hills, a lake as deep as legend awaits. Lake Bunyonyi, the deepest, stillest, most story-filled lake. At dawn, it barely ripples. Mist rises like silk from the surface, veiling a maze of emerald hills and tiny islands, 29 of them to be exact. This is Lake Bunyonyi. the second deepest lake in Africa, plunging more than 900 meters into the earth. But what truly sets it apart isn't the depth, it's the stories. Each island carries a name, and each name a legacy. That's Akampen, the island of punishment. Once, unmarried pregnant girls were exiled here, left with only a scrap of food and shame. Few survived. One, rescued by a passing fisherman, later became a local legend. Another, Bawama Island, became home to a missionary leprosy hospital, a place of healing and isolation. A third holds only trees, but locals insist it's cursed. You'll hear it whispered over fires, "Don't step ashore. Some things are better left alone." But today, the lake is alive with gentler rhythms. Fishermen paddle slender dugout canoes carved from eucalyptus. Schoolchildren in uniforms cross between islands. And bird calls, over 200 species, echo across the water like hymns. Bunyonyi means place of little birds, but its stories are massive. And it remains untouched by hippos, crocodiles, or commercial resorts. You come here not for adrenaline, but for understanding. To glide between islands where the water remembers everything. But if the lake brings peace, Uganda's next wonder will lift you, literally, into the canopy of a forest reborn. Mabira Forest Zipline, flying through a conservation miracle. Rising between Kampala and Jinja is a rainforest many thought would disappear. Mabira Forest, one of Uganda's last surviving central reserves, was nearly lost to logging and agriculture. But a strange solution took root. Thrill seekers and conservationists joined forces. Today, high above the jungle floor, you can fly through the canopy on a 250-meter zip line, one of East Africa's most eco-integrated adventures. But this isn't just adrenaline. Each tree you saw past, mahogany, fig, ironwood, has a purpose. Many are protected by sacred taboos. Others host bees, butterflies, or birds, like the elusive Nathan's francolin, found only here. The Zipline company reinvests profits into forest patrols, reforestation, and local schools. Every ticket funds protection. Every scream in the treetops helps a seedling grow. Down below, traditional healers still walk the forest paths. They know which roots to grind for fever, which bark calms a troubled mind. Their knowledge, like the forest itself, is endangered but still breathing. And the moment you step off the platform, feet dangling, wind howling, forest racing past, you're not just flying, you're helping something ancient survive. But from the silence of the canopy, we now drop into the roar of the water. Feared, wild, and revered. Itanda Falls, the bad place that dares you to visit. Locals call it the bad place, not because it's cursed, but because it dares you to come closer. This is Itanda Falls. One of the Nile's wildest whitewater battlegrounds. Located just upstream from Jinja, the so-called adventure capital of East Africa, these falls are Grade 6 rapids, fast, furious, and untamed. Unlike the curated cruises near Murchison Falls, there are no barriers here, no souvenir stands, just roaring water, sharp rock, and raw power. But the falls are more than just a thrill-seeker's playground. To local fishermen, Itanda is sacred. Some still use hand-woven nets passed down for generations, casting from rooks as their fathers did, despite the risk. It's not unusual to see them in ankle-deep spray, barefoot, unmoved by the chaos around them. And then there are the legends. Spirits said to live beneath the churn, animals drawn to the spray, even whispered tales of ancestral offerings placed in the eddies. Whitewater kayakers from around the world test themselves here. But for Ugandans, Itanda is not just sport, it's spirit. A place that demands respect. Stand too close, and you'll feel it in your bones. But if water can destroy, it can also nourish, and the next place reveals how food, language, and tradition collide. Mukono's cultural codes, where "you've grown fat" means welcome. Just east of Kampala, the town of Mukono may seem unremarkable at first glance, but beneath the surface lies a set of social codes and customs so specific, so deeply felt, they'll make you rethink everything you know about politeness. Here, greetings are not optional, they're sacred. Here, you don't say hi, you ask Olyocha, how are you? And you don't wave from a distance. In traditional households, Baganda women kneel to greet elders, not out of submission, but honor. And if someone says, "You've grown fat," don't be offended. That's not an insult. It's a warm compliment, a sign of health, prosperity, and self-respect. This linguistic richness extends to food, where even names tell stories. A potato is called an Irish, peanuts are G-nuts, and a Rolex isn't a watch, it's the national street snack. A rolled chapati stuffed with eggs, tomatoes, onions, and love. In Mukono, time moves to a different rhythm. Lunch might not arrive until 1 p.m. Supper could stretch past 9. Making a short call doesn't mean phoning home. It means finding a bathroom. Here, the unsaid is just as powerful as the spoken. Ugandans dislike confrontation. Raise your voice and you lose trust. Smile, greet, show respect, and doors open. This isn't just etiquette, it's identity. Passed through generations, not by books, but by example. But in Uganda's west, another tradition is fighting to survive. And it has horns wider than your shoulders. The Ankole Longhorns, the sacred cattle that refuse to die out. In the rolling savannas of western Uganda, something regal grazes the fields. The Ankole Longhorn, a breed of cattle so visually stunning it looks almost mythical. Massive, symmetrical horns stretch skyward like sculptures, each one a natural radiator, designed to cool blood in the equatorial heat. These aren't just animals. They're status symbols, bride prices, spiritual emblems. Traditionally raised by the Bahima people, Ankole cattle were once everywhere, herded across grasslands, celebrated in songs, painted into clan totems. But today they're endangered, replaced by imported European breeds that yield more milk but lack the endurance, the immunity, the soul. Where Frisians require constant antibiotics, the Ankole thrives on dust, sunlight, and instinct. It knows this land. It remembers drought, war, and migration. Farmers like Eric, one of the last remaining Ankole herders, walk among their cattle like family. He doesn't give them numbers. He knows their names, their moods, their lineage. And in recent years, a movement has begun. Not just to conserve, but to revive. Restaurants now serve Ankole beef with pride. Artisans carve horns into jewelry. Tourists photograph them in golden light. Because to lose this animal would be to lose part of Uganda's soul. But if Ankole cattle connect land and history, the next stop ties together mountain, rain, and ritual, one bean at a time. Sipi Falls and Coffee Rites. Sacred beans on volcanic ground. On the lush shoulders of Mount Elgon, water tumbles down from the clouds in 3 epic stages. These are the Sipi Falls, a trio of cascading waterfalls that cut through misty cliffs and banana farms. The tallest splurge is over 100 meters, roaring into a green abyss. But the magic here isn't just vertical, it's in the soil. Sipi's volcanic ground, high elevation and cool climate create the perfect terroir for Arabica coffee, some of the best on the continent. But here, coffee isn't just a product, it's a process, a ritual, and every bean tells a story. Local guides, often farmers themselves, invite visitors into the cycle. You'll pick ripe cherries from the bush, de-pulp them by hand, roast them over an open flame, and grind them with a stone before sipping the freshest cup of your life, overlooking the valley it came from. There's pride in every step, and with each pour, you sense something deeper, a connection between land, labor, and legacy. Sipi isn't just a place to hike, it's a place to slow down, to taste what patience and attitude create. But here, from these peaceful hills, we descend to a place where few dare visit, where spirits hiss, rules are absolute, and women are forbidden. Musambwa Island, where snakes are gods and women are banned. Five kilometers off the shores of Lake Victoria lies Musambwa Island, a jagged outcrop of rock and faith. Only men live here. Only men can. Why? Because Musambwa is sacred, home to both a devout fishing community and hundreds of cobras. They slither across pathways, nest in rocky crevices, sun themselves beside sleeping men, and yet no one kills them. No one panics, because here, the snakes are spirits, guardians of the island, protectors of the code. Women are not allowed to set foot on Musambwa. Doing so, elders say, would anger the spirits and invite chaos. The few who have tried were swiftly escorted away. Despite their venom, there has never been a fatal snake bite on the island. Not one. The fishermen believe this is proof the spirits are pleased. At sunset, the sky turns gold over the water. The men mend nets, prepare dinner, and offer silent prayers. Not to a god in the sky, but to one watching from the rocks below. Musambwa is not a tourist site, it's a living shrine, one where danger and devotion sit side by side. And so we end, not with a thrill, but with a hush. In a place that says the unseen is often the most powerful. Explore more of the world's most remarkable locations, not the most popular, the most powerful. We seek out stories that maps don't tell. Languages, landscapes, and lives that reveal something deeper than a destination. Each documentary is a guided journey into the forgotten, the sacred, the hidden. Tell us which place surprised you most and which one you'd visit first. Every comment adds to the story. Subscribe for cinematic journeys into hidden places, living cultures, and landscapes that still carry meaning.